Waters are fast-moving.
Unlike other big rallies,
Bit earlier at about 7 a.m. A group from the Coast Guard.
Welcome to #PHVote 2013.
Today on Rappler, crime rates increase for the first half of 2014. Camp Crame is ready for a possible hospital arrest for Senator Juan Ponce Enrile. And President Benigno Aquino decides to import rice starting early July. Hello, I'm Paterno Esmaquel. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. The Philippine National Police on Friday reports an increase in crime from January to May this year, compared to the same period in 2013. Data shows total crime volume was up by 17.86%. Total crime volume is the sum of reported index and non-index crimes. Index crimes include murder, homicide, rape, robbery, and theft, while non-index crimes include estafa, prostitution, kidnapping, and carnapping. The numbers don't come as a surprise. The PNP is being criticized for the crime surge from mall shootings, murders, and unsolved media killings. Several groups are calling for the removal of PNP Chief Director General Adan Purisima and Interior Secretary Mar Rojas. Malacanang says it stands by the PNP and DILG leadership, saying the government is firmly determined to stem the tide of criminality and improve the ability of law enforcement agencies to solve crimes. But the PNP says the increase in statistics do not necessarily represent a worsening peace and order situation. It adds that there is a possibility local police units underreported crimes in previous years, making current figures the truthful count. The Philippine National Police is ready if the anti-graft court orders a hospital arrest for Senator Juan Ponce Enrile. Police spokesman Chief Superintendent Ruben Fudor Sindak says Camp Crame has the facilities to ensure the health of the 90-year-old senator. President Aquino himself seems to favor hospital arrest for Enrile. He said Tuesday that Enrile's advanced age should be considered by the graft court Sandigan Bayan. The senator faces graft and plunder charges for allegedly pocketing millions of his discretionary funds through bogus NGOs. The Sandigan Bayan has yet to issue an arrest warrant against Enrile. On June 13, Enrile submitted a motion for bail ahead of the issuance of a warrant due to his ailing health. Plunder is a non-bailable offense, but the accused may be granted bail if the evidence is weak or if a person's life will be endangered as a result of incarceration. In his motion, Enrile said he was not a flight risk, citing his poor and frail condition requiring consistent medical attention. Provisional State Witness Dennis CUNANAN on Friday asked the Sandigan Bayan to allow him to travel abroad. In his motion, CUNANAN says his duties as World Secretary General of the Junior Chamber International require him to be in Japan in the second week of July and in the U.S. for the last week of the same month. CUNANAN adds he is willing to cut short any of his trips once ordered by the court to return. CUNANAN says he was also abroad at the time charges were filed against him, but he did not flee. Earlier, the Ombudsman denied CUNANAN's application to become state witness in the multi-million peso pork barrel scam cases. In an order released Thursday, Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales denied his application for immunity and motion for reconsideration. CUNANAN is accused of graft for diverting lawmakers' funds to fake project scores for the Technology Resource Center. Ombudsman prosecutors withdrew their bid to amend Senator Jinggoy Estrada's plunder charge sheet. This comes after the chair of the division handling Estrada's case warns prosecutor Danilo Lopez that amending the information would mean the findings of probable cause could be recalled by the justices. Once recalled, Estrada could be released from detention. The amendments initially involve a change in the wording of the charge sheet from conspiracy to connivance. During the hearing in Sandigan Bayan's 5th Division Friday, Justice Alexander Hesmundo noted the difference between the two words. The 5th Division is hearing Estrada's plunder and graft charges over his involvement in the pork barrel scam. President Aquino and agriculture officials decide to import rice for the lean month starting early July, when farmers await harvest. The decision comes at a time when prices of basic commodities are on the rise. Aquino says the price hikes of rice and basic commodities, quote, do not make sense. He says economists are saying there is enough supply. The president adds, the suspicion is there are those colluding to keep the prices high, especially the price of garlic. Agriculture Secretary Proceso Alcala is the highest paid member in the Aquino cabinet in 2013. A Commission on Audit or COA report shows Alcala earned over 4.2 million pesos or over $96,000. But Alcala's pay is roughly a quarter of the highest paid government official in 2013. Government Service Insurance System President and General Manager Roberto Vergara, who had a take-home pay of almost 12.1 million pesos or over $275,000 in 2013. The United States announces it will disband its anti-terror task force in the Philippines after more than a decade. U.S. Embassy spokesman Kurt Hoyer confirms the U.S. Joint Special Operations Task Force Philippines or JSOT-FP will no longer exist after a transition plan is set. The U.S. formed the JSOT-FP in 2002 to help the Philippine military respond to extremist threats. Hoyer says the U.S. and Philippine partnership has been, quote, successful in drastically reducing the capabilities of domestic and transnational terrorist groups in the Philippines. He adds the terror groups have, quote, devolved into criminal groups. In an interview with Rappler, U.S. Ambassador Philip Goldberg cites two reasons behind the decision.
Now that there is a peace agreement, I assess the mission to have been very successful in two regards. One, as we were discussing, the threat, we believe, at least the transnational threat, is much reduced. And that is a really good thing. And a lot of progress has been made. Number two, the ability and the capacity of the Philippine Armed Forces and the Special Forces has increased. And so we now believe we're at the point where we can now turn this over to the Philippines. It's not over yet, but...
The White House asks U.S. lawmakers for $500 million to train and equip vetted Syrian rebels in what could be a significant escalation of U.S. involvement in the region's conflict. The funding comes from America's $1.5 billion Regional Stabilization Initiative to bolster stability in neighboring countries Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, and Turkey, and support communities hosting refugees. Senate Armed Services Committee Chair Carl Levin supports the White House's move, saying it is appropriate spending. Following signals from U.S. President Barack Obama, the White House intends to, quote, ramp up U.S. support to the moderate Syrian opposition. The request comes at an extraordinary sensitive time in the Middle East, with terrorist group Islamic State of Iraq and Syria or ISIS joining forces with other insurgents in Syria. Despite ISIS threatening to tear Iraq apart, Obama repeated his pledge to avoid sending U.S. ground troops back to that country. He said, quote, they're going to have to contribute to solving their own problems here, although we'll protect our people and we'll make sure that we're going after terrorists who could do us harm. Ecuadorian lawmakers proposed constitutional amendments Thursday to allow unlimited presidential terms. The move comes after incumbent President Rafael Correa made a similar request last May. In office since 2007, Correa was re-elected in February 2013 for a 4-year term, the last he is currently allowed under the law. The Constitutional Court has 45 days to rule on the initiative, which also aims to lower the minimum age for a presidential candidate from 35 to 30. Ecuador's constitution only allows 2 consecutive terms for public office, including the president. Correa initially said he had no intention of running for a 3rd term, but later asked the National Assembly to modify the constitution to allow unlimited terms. Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 7, United Nations Margareta Wallström warns Asians against slipping back to complacency after a natural catastrophe. She says, quote, it is morally unacceptable that we need regular big catastrophes to continue to action. Wallström says it takes 18 months after a catastrophe for people to forget, and this short-term memory poses the problem of inability to link issues together. At number 9, British actor Gary Oldman apologizes to the Anti-Defamation League and Jewish rights group for his remarks that Hollywood is run by Jews. and for defending actor Mel Gibson's anti-Semitic rant in 2012. The league dismisses Oldman's apology as, quote, insufficient, saying his remark has a very familiar sinister ring to it that is the anthem of bigots and anti-Semites everywhere. And at number 10, British designer Ben Westwood wants WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to walk the catwalk. Westwood asked Assange to model in the London Fashion Week, along with Hollywood celebrities. Westwood's mother, Vivienne, is a keen supporter of Assange, who's trying to avoid extradition to Sweden for publishing highly classified American military and diplomatic documents in 2010. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. A Filipino-American basketball player is one step closer to playing in the NBA. 6'5" combo guard Jordan Clarkson was selected 46 overall in the NBA draft Thursday night in New York. Clarkson was originally selected by the Washington Wizards, but was immediately acquired by the LA Lakers through a trade. Born to an American father and Filipino mother, Clarkson is the second Phil-Am player to be drafted in the NBA. The first was point guard Raymond Townsend, who was selected 22nd overall by the Golden State Warriors. Clarkson is part of a deep draft class that featured forwards Andrew Wiggins and Jabari Parker. Wiggins, whose father played as an import in the PBA, was selected first overall by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes down to the mood navigator in the middle of the front page, which crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories with the most clicks. On our mood navigator today, we have a few green stories like this one. NTC bars 2 firms from sending spam messages. This story made 87% of readers happy. This other story, Eddie Angeles from poor immigrant to Obama appointee, 74% inspired. And many other stories on our mood navigator today are color red. This one, China hits Philippines for seeking Japan's help. This story made 54% of readers angry. And this one, China denounces Philippines for pushing for military active Japan, 49% angry. And the story that got the most votes on our mood navigator today is this one, the highest paid government official in 2013, an official from the GSIS. This story made 67% of readers angry. All these stories contributed to the mood of the day. Today, most people are angry. That's Rappler's newscast for today, Friday, July 27, 2014. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Paterno S. Makel, and as we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.